Here is my physics problem today, and it goes like this. I'll read it to you, actually, because I wrote it down. An empty train car is moving with the speed of 6 meters per second. I call that car A. And has a mass of 1,000 kilograms. Yes, it's very small. I just picked some numbers. It collides with a stationary car, B, that has a mass of 4,000 kilograms together. The two stick together after the collision. How much kinetic energy was lost, or how much kinetic energy was converted into thermal energy and things like that? Okay. And so you may think, hey, how could you possibly do that? Because we don't know the final speed. And yes, but we'll find that, right? They stick together, so we know that it's an inelastic collision. Remember that when we have two objects interacting, and the interaction force is the primary reason that things change in momentum, then when this one pushes on that one pushes back on this one with the same force for the same amount of time, so the two cars have equal and opposite changes in momentum. That's the momentum principle. We can say, just by arranging things, that the total initial momentum, I'll call it P1, is equal to the total final momentum, P2. That's conservation momentum. When is momentum conserved? Momentum is conserved when there's no other external forces that are involved. There are external forces here, but they're not really doing anything, right? The track pushes up, gravity pulls down, but neither of those change the momentum of the situation, so we can use conservation momentum. Okay. So I'm calling that A, I'm calling that B. I know VA1. I do need to pick a coordinate system, so that seems obvious. Let's pick that as the X direction and that as the Y direction. So I just want to write down everything I know about this equation, and I want to find the final velocity. Once I do that, I can find the final kinetic energy and see how that compares to the initial kinetic energy. So let's look at the initial momentum. Now, we have momentum is a vector, but everything's just moving in the X direction. So I'm just going to write X momentums. So my initial X momentum, I'll say P1X, is going to be the momentum, the mass of car A, times its initial velocity in the X direction, which is just VA1. It's moving in the X direction. So I'm not going to put a subscript there. Plus mass B times its velocity, which is 0 in the X direction. P2X, I'm using 2 as the final, remember. So that's going to be the mass of both cars together. They have the same velocity. So I'm going to say MA plus MB times V2, which is the X velocity. Now these two things have to be equal to each other, and I can solve for V2. So I have MA VA1 is going to be equal to MA plus MB V2. And they're both the same, so I'm just calling it V2. Now, I want to be clear that if this is a test problem or a homework problem and you're solving this problem, and you start with something like this, that's the answer for this particular problem. That's not the fundamental thing. What's fundamental that you should start with is this. You should even say, why is that true? You could add in here, no external forces, so momentum conserved. Why am I writing this out? Momentum conserved. I guess I just wanted to do it. Once I started, I couldn't stop. Okay, so that is an important thing to say. You don't have to say it's an inelastic collision because it said they stuck together. But now I can take this equation and I can solve for V2. So let's do that. V2 is going to be MA VA1 divided by MA plus MB. And we have a number for that. We can put that in. We have all these numbers. So I can get that final velocity. But I didn't ask, the question doesn't ask for the final velocity. The question asks for the change in kinetic energy. So let's calculate the initial kinetic energy. I can call that K1. It's 1/2 MA VA1 squared plus the initial kinetic energy of that, which is 0. And let's calculate the final kinetic energy. K2 is 1/2 the total mass, MA plus MB, times this velocity squared. So that's going to be MA squared VA1 squared over MA plus MB squared. And you'll see here those cancel with one of those. So this is going to be equal to 1/2 MA squared VA1 squared over MA plus MB. And notice that has the same units as kinetic energy because I have a mass squared on the top, but I have a mass on the bottom. So I get mass times velocity squared, so that is correct. Okay, let's go ahead and calculate this. So K1 is 1/2 times 1,000 times 6 squared. Oh, I think I can do that. That's 36, and then I divide by 2, and I get 18, so I get 18,000. See, I didn't even need a calculator. Over here, I have 1/2 times 1,000 squared times 6 squared over 1,000 plus 4,000, so 5,000. I'm going to go ahead and put that one in the calculator because I'll make a mistake, and I don't want to make a mistake. So turn on the calculator. I get 1/2 1,000 squared 36 times 6 is 36. 36 times, and then 5,000 divided by. And I get K2, put it right here, is 3,600. So it did lose a lot of kinetic energy. So 18,000 minus. So delta K is it's negative 14400 joules. So where did that kinetic energy go? It didn't go away. It didn't just disappear, right? When these two things collide together, there's a whole bunch of other internal energies that we need to consider. There's sound. There's maybe there's some springs connected to them, and those springs get compressed and things like that. So that could be part of the problem. There you go.